Good day and welcome to another interesting edition of The Exclusive. I am Korede Akitunde. Today, our guest is an economist, a writer, and a father in the Church of God. He is also a board member of the Advent Cable Network, the ACNNTV, and also the Church of Nigeria Economic and Financial Think Tank. He is the chairman of that, and we have the Right Reverend Chidi Oparaojiaku, the Bishop of Ohaji Egbema Diocese in Imo State of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion in the studio. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you.
It's good that you could find time to be in the studio with us.
Yeah, I have no option than to be here.
Thank you very much, sir. Viewers, we shall be talking business on this edition of The Exclusive with our guest today. So, get your seats and let's have a fruitful insight into the program with our guests today. All right, sir. Let me start with asking, a lot of people don't know where Ohaji Egbema Diocese is in Imo State. Can you tell us the area of the diocese?
It's called Ohaji Egbema Diocese.
Okay. All right.
These are two autonomous communities, two different people putting together.
Okay.
They have one common culture. And if you're coming in from Port Harcourt, for instance, coming from Port Harcourt, Omanelu, which is the last village in River State, shares boundary with Omapo. Okay. The Omapo is the first village from Port Harcourt in Ohaji Egbema.
Okay.
If I'm coming from Owerri, after Obinze, which is the last village in Owerri, before you get to Ohaji Egbema, after Obinze, you meet Mbrichi. The Mbrichi is Ohaji Egbema. Then from Futo Junction, moves straight, right in there, you go to Omokane. So that's where the cathedral is. Okay. That is the headquarters of the diocese. Okay. That's Ohaji Egbema. Okay. Then from Omok, you move towards Egbema. Okay. After Omok, you see Egbema. Okay. That's the part of Ohaji Egbema diocese. Then from Uguta that's nature axis, nature road axis. Okay. After Uguta, you meet Ohaji Egbema. So Ohaji Egbema got across a whole lot of people. Wow. And we are sandwiched by almost 10 dioceses. Ahoda Diocese, Ukure Diocese, Ebo Diocese, Ondilek Diocese, Eche Diocese, Hill Diocese. We have all of that apart. We are sandwiched in.
So you are like Kogi States on the map of Nigeria.
I think so. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we are.
Okay, so
and it's a blessed land, you know. Okay. And quite peaceful. Oh, but people talk about when people hear about the Ohaji Egbema side, you keep wondering, is that where I live? I live there. I live in Ohaji Egbema, in the village there, I live there. Wow. And when you hear about the story about it, keep asking, is it the same place we live they're talking about? So a lot of black men go, they are blessed people. They are rich in natural resources. All right. They are rich in material resources. They have everything you can talk about. Go and bless them.
We get to that. Yeah. Now let's meet you now. Your name, your full name. A lot of people know Chidi Oparaojiaku. Let's know your full name, the place of birth, your state, the schools you attended, and your professional skills.
Well, my parents gave me two names. Okay. Chidi. Okay. And Collins. All right. And my father's surname is Oparaojiaku. Okay. My dad's father's name is Oliver. Okay. And then my grandfather's name is Oparaojiaku, and I chose to answer Oparaojiaku as a choice. Okay. I was born in 1960, March 27th. Wow. I'm 60 years and 5 months now. Wow. And I was born in Port Harcourt, in River State. Okay. Yeah. And I schooled also partly in Port Harcourt and also partly in Imo State. Okay,
but you are from Imo State?
I'm from Imo State, okay. Yeah. I had my primary school in Amiibo State School 2. Okay. My 2. I had my secondary school in Jankrama Grammar School in Ahoda, in River State still. Okay. I had my first degree in Imo State University, then Okigwe, now Abia State University, Uturu. Okay. I had my master's in economics in University of Port Harcourt. And then PhD in River State University, as they call it now. Yeah. And by God's grace, we have about 3 or 4 degrees to that effect. I had my theoretical training in Umuahia Trinity College, Umuahia.
Okay.
Then affiliated to Nsukka.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far, that's what it is.
Okay, so what's the name of your village?
I'm from Umofodrugo,
Okay,
Umeze.
okay.
In short, Umelechi, Umofodrugo, Umeze, Obazu, Mbieri,
Okay.
Mbitoli,
Okay.
local government na Imo State, Nigeria.
Oh, all right. I know those who know that place.
Yeah, they will.
They know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
No, so now let's look at your growing up. From what you've mentioned thus far, it's like you spend more of your growing up in Port Harcourt.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's know what was the growing up like. How many children was it in your family, and what was growing up like?
Well, I'm the first son in my family,
Okay.
and
Of how many?
Huh?
Of how many?
I'm the first son of
Okay.
six,
Okay,
six,
of
six
six.
boys, six men.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm the first son. We are 6 men.
All men.
Yeah,
Wow.
for my family. And then my father felt that he needed a female in the family. And felt that my mother was not giving him birth to a female child. So I had to get married a second wife
Wow.
with my stepmother,
Wow.
who is younger by age, almost 7 years to me. And then I got married to her. And then she has 6 too. Now 4 girls and 2 boys.
Wow.
So my family, we are 11. And that's a good one. Or 12, sorry, 12.
Yeah,
That's a good one,
12.
yeah. Yeah. And we're all of us are alive.
Wow.
Yeah.
12. 8 boys, 4 girls.
8 boys, 4 girls, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. So what was growing up like in such
Well,
kind of setup?
the first, my mom had just 6. We never had any interferences as per stepmother hadn't come in then. But the first 3, myself, my immediate younger, and then the third boy, we most like grew together. Though the distance was something that, was not too big, not too far. And it was not easy. That was this me playing the role of a father, mother, defending the cause and all of that. My younger brother was a little bit on the rascal side anyway. He was the forceful one, very strong, can fight any battle, even for me. And I was, my point of looking for peace, That's what it is. Unfortunately, I'm almost like the peacemaker in my family, And people, when I said that, people say you, I said yes. And then that family is something else. Yeah.
So now looking at a large family like this, I was going to school so easy.
Yeah, initially we were not meant to come out from go to school. My father was a businessman.
Okay.
And a very consummated businessman for that matter. When you go to number 1 Ikoku, which is Ikoku today in River State in Port Harcourt, he will still live on Sons Limited. That's my father.
Wow.
And then it was like he had to hand over to me the business. That's how we go to school. So initially it was a big problem with 2 of us. And we parted ways. As we go to school, he said no. Because for his reason was that those who were graduates from my village, who went to school from my village, went to the university, we are going to borrow money from him.
Wow.
So am I going to inherit poverty? I should come visit that those who went to school are going to borrow money from him. So why must I go to school? I said, Papa, they're going to borrow money from you doesn't mean they didn't go to school. He said, but they didn't have money. That's all it's not about money. It's actually his building. The building as at then was the most beautiful building. Those who went to school couldn't build such houses, So I said, Papa, that's not the issue. The issue here is I want to go to school. They have their talent, I have my own talent. If they went to school and they couldn't make it, it's not my portion. It was a big struggle, but thank God finally he heeded to that pressure and then I had to go to school.
So others, were they also able to go to school?
Yeah.
Okay.
My family, 6 of us were shared to 3. 3 went to the university, finished and came out. Okay. And then 3 other 3 also went to secondary school, finished and joined business. And are doing very well in their business. Sure, my village head now is my immediate younger brother.
Okay.
My village head, yes. So he's doing very well in business. That's his business in Port Harcourt, some Warri and in Lagos.
So which school did you attend? Primary school?
I've said before, I'm Igbo.
Okay.
I'm Igbo State School 2, primary school in Diop.
Okay.
Yeah, my 2.
Okay, that's
my secondary school, my primary school in Port Harcourt, yeah.
Okay. No, now let's look at growing up in this, going to school, and when you finish in university, what was your first Was it a job or whatever?
From childhood, I've never had the man of employment. It wasn't part of my job. It wasn't part of my fancies at all.
Okay.
In short, employment is slavery. Anybody who's employed is a slave. Sorry, forgive me. It doesn't have words of your own. You come to work when you want to. So and it wasn't part of my job. It wasn't part of my fancy at all as a young man. I never thought of working for anybody. All my plan was to go to school, finish, start a corporate business, raise your funds and money, and sponsor the church, sponsor the clergymen, sponsor whoever. Any money where they need money, put money there. That was my idea about it. So issue of even till now, I still believe none of my child will work for anybody. Till tomorrow, I shouldn't believe that, because working for people, at the end of the month, they pay you peanuts, and you're celebrating that you're a worker. You labor throughout the day, throughout the month. The man is somewhere in the busy cruising on a big fan, on a big AC, and then after you have finished laboring for 1 month, he gives you 100,000, and he'll jump you home, and the man would have taken over 10 million, 20 million. You made for him. So for me, working for somebody is not my problem. It's not my fancy at all, and I still believe that my children, God willing, the only thing they're going to do is to get experience of 1 or 2 years. They're going to be on their own. Nobody work for anybody.
So, but what of others who are working for, maybe for you, and working for?
Yeah, we're saying something that nobody working for me. People who have worked for me will tell you, I will tell them, I said, you're going to stay with 5 years only. My driver, I told them, 5 years you are driving, you must resign. Go and start your own business, start your own, buy your own car, move on. Except those who believe that they must work and they must stay. That's what I'm saying. But as far as I'm concerned, though some people can work for some people, but it's not part of my lineage to work for anybody. And I believe my children will not work for anybody. They can gain experience, but they can't work for anybody.
Okay.
Because there's money in this country. What you need is to become creative. There are openings everywhere. So when I hear people say I'm unemployed, it irritates me. But we'll come to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Now let's look at, so you didn't get any job after your school?
I didn't apply for any job. I didn't do for any.
So what were you into immediately?
I did my small contacts. In short, I had this smooth, straightforward ministry thing. On campus in the university, by God's special grace, I started. I was the prayer coordinator of NIFES.
Okay.
Imo University then. Then became JCCF coordinator, or prayer coordinator for JCCF, and then became NIFES president. Then all my idea was to serve on campus and then come out and face a corporate business, the world. Then during my youth service, I served in Kano State, now Jigawa local government, now Jigawa State. And during youth service, I was also an NCCF evangelism coordinator and prayer coordinator at the same time.
Yeah.
So when was I came serving, my pro was serve and come back and then face the world. But it was there. When I got there, I didn't see an Anglican church there. I saw 3 churches who have no relationship with our church. And then but this particular one, Redeemed People's Mission. The man, Reverend Gosson Obasi, very good man. So that's why I attended the church there. And the man, the first day I attended there, he asked me to, pray. I prayed. After that, the man said he has handed over the church to me. Wow. He announced to the church that this is the pastor. He's now overseeing. Whatever I feel I want to do in this church to grow, I should go and do it and grow in Brunukudu. And I started it. Wow. Was at the church, through the fasting and prayer, vigil, the church expanding by God's special grace. So I didn't know that was God letting me know where He want me to go. So in 6 months, the church started having the second service. Wow. We bought extra land, expanded the church building, and it started growing. So the man now had to take me to their leader in Jos for them to absorb me as a pastor. I said, no, sir. I came for your service. I'm going. It was a big thing. So wow. when I now moved from Brinukudu to Duse, on second posting again because Duse then they had the polytechnics and they needed the accreditation by NUC, so they had to draft me from Brinukudu to go as an economist to come and head the economic department of that place as a copper. So I had to move to Duse. So at Duse I started a ministry called Faith Praise Center. And there was growing, had about 6 branches, thinking that one would become a joint overseer. So eventually, at the process of our being rounding up our youth service, God spoke to me specifically. I didn't call it open ministry. When you finish, leave here. If you don't leave here, I will draw my security. And if you know my problem in Kano, where we had our orientation, you know, when we came there, there was this band that NCCF will never meet. Christians will never have fellowship. So I said no. So the military men beat hell out of me. They broke my head into 10 places. My hair was shaved. I carried plasters everywhere. And they asked me to come out that morning for exercise. I said I will come out. So I came out and stood on the road, on the pathway to the field for morning exercise. People said, oh boy, what happened? I said, I prayed, though they broke my head. They said, what? So there was a small riot that morning. So the state coordinator had to whisk me off. I said, I'm not going anywhere. So eventually, that was started our fellowship. They allowed us not start. We started our fellowship. Then brethren came from Castina and then did election for us. And we moved. So when I came to Brunikudu, people who saw me or happening with you were asking me, please don't cause problem here for us. But I told the general of the state of if you don't need to have worship my God here, post me back to where I'm coming from. I'm a Christian and I must worship God. It was a big problem, you know. Then thereafter, we now got to Jigawana from Brunikudu to Duse. Okay. And as a lecturer, I started small fellowship with the compound there. It was resisted actually, but I started my fellowship. I started growing. So, but God said, when you pass that, go back to your church, or I'm going to withdraw my security. And through the talk, I didn't tell the elders of the church. Those I saw as elders of the church who are almost like coppers like me too, you know. I didn't tell them, so because I have to escape my life. But if God withdraw security for me, they know they will kill me the following day because of what happened there. You know, what God helped us to do. So I had to run away. They didn't even know. It was when I came back home, there was no phone now. When I came back home, they got to know that I've gone home, I've traveled. I left my pots, everything, my room, everything was intact. I left it. I came back. So when I came back and then I was introduced to Bishop Elewon, the then Bishop of Niger Delta Diocese. And they interviewed me. And I was sent to school, to seminary school. So I go to seminary school.
Was your father a devoted Anglican?
My father is an Anglican.
Okay.
But no, the issue of devoted is what I don't know. I don't understand what you mean by devoted.
No, maybe it was a catechist, maybe it was...
No.
Maybe,
okay. No. I didn't have anybody from my lineage that was a catechist, even lay leader. The only person that's close to that was my mom, who belonged to PCC of different for many years. Okay. Then harvest committee member for many years and chairman for many years, my mother. For my father, all he knows is to drop the money, ask for money, drop money, donate money. Once in a while, he goes his way. Yeah.
So now, at what point did you now get married?
Yeah, I got married as a deacon.
Okay.
I wanted to get married before entering this school, but people advised me otherwise. I said no. See, go to seminary school.
Before going to seminary school.
Go to seminary school first, finished. Then when you're done, you come and marry as a clergyman. And that actually, you know.
So how did you meet her?
Huh? I met her on campus.
Okay.
In the university.
Oh.
Yeah, I met in the university. She was 3 years ahead of me.
Oh.
3 years ahead of me. I was in level 1 when she was in level 3. No, level 4.
Level 4, yeah.
When I entered level 2, she was in level 5. Okay. Because she did a 5-year program. So by the time she left, I entered year 3. So by the time I finished, she finished her master's, doing her master's at Nsukka. When I finished with service, I was ready for marriage. But they said I should first of all, if I want to go to seminary, I should go to seminary school first. So, and for me, I think I fancied that too. I appreciated that. So I had to, we courted for 4 years. But what also helped her was each of these for these 4 years, she was right up her master's at Nsukka. I was in seminary school. Then, when she finished her master's, she picked a job at Onitsha, teaching job in secondary school. Okay. Then when I got ordained, then after my ordination, I said, Deacon, we got married. And my father-in-law said that she's also the only daughter out of a family of 7. Wow. Yeah, she's out of family, she's the only daughter. So it was a big problem marrying her. I'm from Anambra State. And if you know Anambra and Imo about marriage, you understand what I passed through. Because Anambra man believe that Imo State man don't know how to marry. Wow. Yeah, they believe that. So it was a big whole of, but God helped me.
Wow.
And I had a very good father-in-law and mother-in-law. Wonderful family. Yeah, a wonderful family, honestly. Quite helped me.
So what's her name?
Joy. My wife's name is Joy Obiageli
Okay. Okay.
Oparaojiaku Niokafo from Ekulobia. I'm in Ekulobia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, before we just leave that aspect, can you advise the young people what it takes to have a good marriage?
Well, the advice to young people what it takes to have a good marriage, they may not really understand what you're talking about. The issue about marriage is when you enter, you not get experience. Whatever you get outside marriage is fake. That's why I keep wondering those who are not married, how they even do marriage counseling. Honestly, I don't know how they do marriage counseling. Those who are not married, the man of God is not married, they do marriage counseling. And what did he get his experience from? Marriage is about experience. It does nothing spiritual about it. Everything about it is about experience. So when I see a young man or a young woman or a young man who is not married, counseling people who are married, I keep asking him. Like I ask one, where do you get the experience from? This thing you're saying, who told you? And they get the experience from marriage books. Is what is clean marriage is now. Because most of the marriage books you are written tailored to the person's experience, which may not be your own experience. Okay. My experience in marriage may not be your own experience. For instance, my environment, my wife's environment. I married a lady that came, she only get in the family of 6 men, herself 7, and then her parents, only. And then, when we got married newly, there was a big problem. The problem was me adjusting to her to start receiving those things they were giving her. She became for everybody, the family, she is the
bride.
She is the bride. She is the attention. The brothers, everybody competing to take care of her. The parents, everybody competing to take care of her. And then look at me here, coming from a family of 6 men. We don't have a female at all in my family. So how will I even know how to treat a woman? Nobody taught me. I don't have anyone to learn from the house. So different environments. So when we got married, we have three things we are struggling with. 3 things is, 1, that I don't know how to tell her that she's looking beautiful and pretty. That I don't know how to tell her that her clothes is beautiful on her. She'll go and do her hair and come back. I won't tell her your hair is fine. I say, will I tell her this? She said, yes, I should tell her. She needs to hear it from my mouth. I say, okay, it became another university for me. Start learning. Because I never had a sister in the family that told me these things work. So eventually I started learning. And it helped me. Honestly helped me too. And so today I can be a good counselor. You know?
Yeah.
So for young people who want to get married, 3 things I want to say in Jeffy. 1 is, my very beautiful. I have a very beautiful woman. I'm sure if you see her, you will know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But please don't go for beauty that your eyes see. Go for beauty your inner eye see. When you get the beauty from your inner eye sees inside the person, the beauty inside will reflect the beauty outside. So don't go for beauty, what your eye will see. Because what your eyes see will collapse with the first marriage, with the first pregnancy. And those who want to marry shape. When a woman gives, what be that the woman gives the first pregnancy, the stomach refuses to go in. Shape is gone. Yeah. All the several, is it figure 9 or figure 8 you want, it's gone. So when you say you're going for figure, you might live for figure, and eventually, after the first bite, the stomach refuses to go in. Figure is gone. So your love for her is gone. So marry the beauty inside that will reflect outside, not what your eye sees. Number 2, don't go to marry from background. Say, I want to marry the background. Her father is there, mother is this. No. You're not marrying to be a dependent or a parasite. You're marrying to be a man. So let your marriage don't be because the father is this, mother is this. No. You're married to be a man, so be a man. Because if you do that, and that's the reason you are marrying her, and she got to know about it, you mean a slave for life. You mean a slave for life. And the parents will use you as a slave for life. So the best to marry your wife as the man in charge. Not because of the father or because of the brothers, no. Then number 3, that also help you, you must go back to God to ask him, who do you want me to marry? And let him speak to you the way he speaks to you ordinarily. You know, some of us believe that when you come to marry, God will speak to us differently. No. God will speak to you in the same way he speaks to you ordinarily about marriage. So pay attention, he will speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you. We take, viewers, we just take a breather and we'll be back to continue talking with our Lord Bishop, the Right Reverend Chidi Oparaojiaku, and we'll start looking at his ministerial life after this break.
I wouldn't want to say we're in a state of anarchy, as it is, because no one is sure of his life walking on the streets anywhere today in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But in the words of national security, I think we are in a state of emergency.
Nobody will say that what is happening in the country is that. Anybody that says that is very, very economical with the truth.
Once a law is made in any nation, nobody is above the law. If a church has a business entity, the church should pay their own taxation on whatever business they have that they are making money.
Election is not war. Soldiers must not be mobilized for election. Election is a civil affair, and I'm saying that to the federal government. Police has a primary responsibility in protecting the balloting process.
Thank you for staying tuned with us. And if you are just joining, this is still the exclusive with the Right Reverend Chidi Oparaojiaku, the Bishop of Ohaji Egbema Diocese in Church of Nigeria. My Lord, sir, thank you for your thoughts. Now let's look at you. After your return from service, you went into the seminary. When were you ordained?
Ordained 95.
Okay, 1995.
1995, yeah.
Okay, what? Which month?
July.
Okay.
16th, precisely.
Okay, so from which diocese and how was the progress like and up to becoming a bishop?
Yeah, I was ordained deacon 1995.
Okay.
July, precisely 16th.
Okay.
In Niger Delta.
Okay. Diocese.
Niger Delta Diocese.
Okay.
And my ordination venue took place at Bethel Church, Amadem or Clerical.
Okay.
And we are 14 in number ordained that day by late Right Reverend Samuel Onyukwu JP.
Okay.
And then I was posted to St. Paul's Church, Parish Church, the headquarters of Patakota Chidi in Garrison, the present cathedral now.
Cathedral, okay.
I was posted there. And before I resumed, I was posted and asked not to report, not to resume.
Okay.
Because there was a crisis that happened in that church, who happened to be an Igbo man. So they said, when I posted, they said I should not report. Let them get back to the council. Let the council, when the council replies to the bishop, then they will tell me to report. But I had my posting letter. The other 13 of us reported in their churches. I didn't report for almost 1 month.
Wow.
I was back in my house. And then after about a month thereabout, I was now called to report. So I reported. When I reported, I met a canon, Reverend Canon Ward, who also almost coincidentally came the same time I was also coming in, who was the vicar of the church. And then there was already a serving priest there, late Venerable Iruka. Then he was also a priest, working for NEPA, not in diary worker.
Yeah.
And then we said I work. I came fresh from the university, from the youth service and university, and then the job was on there. My desire, honestly speaking, even till tomorrow, God is my witness, is I wanted the caller because of the calling I had from God, not for any other thing. So I focused on my ministry. Then somewhere we had another posting, then Reverend Canon Aka, FN Aka, came in from St. Stephen's Cathedral Church to join us as the canon residentiary. So by that office, he became the superior officer in the parish church there. Then it had become a cathedral church. I was there as a parish church then. After within that 6 months, it became a cathedral church for the new Diocese of Niger Delta North. Okay. Then Aka came. I had worked with the underward, Reverend Canon Ward, now venerable, retired. Then when Aka came, Aka broadened the scope of the ministry. Venerable Aka taught me ministry. He shared the ministry. He believed in ministry sharing. He shared the ministry, gave us portfolios, gave me portfolio area of coverage. I focus the revival program, the revival part of that church every Wednesday, then Friday class, then vigils, was then marriages, confirmation, and marriage confirmation, and whatever. Those people were my portfolio areas.
Okay.
I'll give report monthly to him. And we meet every Monday by 8 a.m. in the morning till 2 p.m. We meet, look at what happened last Sunday, and then pray together for the week. And then he goes back to his office. We stay in the office. We are rostered. That morning is our off day. But from Tuesday, you'll be in the office from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. You go back by 4 p.m., coming back to office by 6 p.m. for those who have gone to work, who will be coming for one thing or the other in the evening. Yes. You come back to us. So that's why I learned ministry, Anglican ministry. He taught me ministry. Liturgy, he's a liturgist himself. He's short. The man himself is a life liturgist. It's a walking liturgy. If time you're reading the scripture, you read that outside the context of the way it's being read, he gets annoyed. Or you go to service and you didn't put it, you didn't chat it very well, he gets annoyed with you. So he's a man. And we did very well. Then, though of course, we're almost same age. I'm senior to him by 1 year. So we're contemporaries. So we had access to ourselves. The age was not, we had access to ourselves. So I learned a lot from him. He taught me ministry. So from there, I served for 5 years under him in the cathedral, the long-serving curate in the cathedral. And then after that, I was posted up from the cathedral church straight to be a vicar and administrator of vicar of Good Shepherd Anglican Church, a newly planted church, and then a newly created Chidi Port Harcourt West. So I moved from cathedral straight to Port Harcourt West as administrator, and then vicar of Good Shepherd. Good Shepherd was a home fellowship that was made to be a church. We now started it. So I was the first vicar of that place, and we started the ministry. And from there, I got my posting to St. Matthew's St. Matthew's Anglican Church, Transamadi.
Okay.
And then worked there. From there, I got another transfer to Chapel of Redemption, the university, the chaplaincy, as a chaplain, where I served for 7 years, sorry. And from that place, from there, late 2007, I was posted to St. Andrew Rubiakan, Deanery, as rector and as Archdeacon in residence.
Okay.
And then 2008, by March, I was the Bishop of Diocese of Ohaji, Egbema, Anglican Communion.
Wow.
That's what it is.
Wow.
I don't know if I missed out anything. But in the process of these services, I was appointed chaplain of over 21 chaplaincies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Within the diocese?
Within the diocese.
Oh.
Over 21 chaplaincies. I headed many of them.
So becoming a bishop, was this something you wanted?
Honestly, being frank to you, those who know will tell I'm an evangelist by call. I have no credit for bishopric office. So when I was told I was asking my bishop, I said, is that how it happened? Because honestly, under God, it wasn't part of my intent, it was not part of my plan. Because where I was in River State, I wouldn't be dreaming to be a bishop in River State for what? So for me, it was out of my agenda to be a bishop in River State because it's injustice. It's a problem. It's a challenge. You don't allow it be. Even if you are elected by mistake, you die before your time. So the issue of says I really tough my heart because that's why I'm working, official bishopric. So my plan was when I turn 50, I will take a voluntary retirement and go on full mission. I'm a missionary by calling too. Going to missions. I have mission fields in different countries, about 6 countries, So my plan was when I turn 50, I will withdraw from the posting ministry, posting vicar, archdeacon, no, withdraw and then ask bishop to give me an office for missions, first mission as a work. That was my thinking. I've done that. Discussed that with my wife, and we agreed. And but after doing that, by 2008, I was elected bishop. So when they gave me a letter, I said you must reply, either accept or not accept it. So I said I had to go to the place, and when I've never heard in my life in my life. I've never been there in my life. Whether by, I was born in Port Harcourt, so I spent my first 48 years in Port Harcourt.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was born there, I grew there, I lived there for 8 years. I left Port Harcourt for 8 years for Egbema. So I've not heard about it. So I said, let's go and find out the place. By the time we came, they said from Futo Junction, you veer in left. Then they've not demarcated the road, you know. So when we came, my wife and I, we drove down with my driver, who drove us down from Port Harcourt, from my church, St. Andrew, and then we moved. When we got to the place, the electric pole stopped. And we drove far, bush. I had to return back to the junction. They said, I'm going to Mokane. They said, yes, sir, keep driving straight. You see the village. And we drove past Obinze, drove past the electric pole. We were not seeing. We drove down until about 10 minutes. The road was bad then. But 10 minutes, we saw one small village. And I saw welcome to Mokane. I said, hey, I'm in trouble. Is that where they're bringing me? I mean, I'm coming from St. Andrew Church, where I have over 2,000 worshippers. Where the microphone is enough anointing. Where the instruments there is enough anointing. Where the singers, those who sing, when they take microphone, you are inspired. Even the worshiping community, the church worshiping community is enough. That's the church I have my budget of 150 million naira annually, my budget. And by March, April, I've realized 100 million, 200, 120 million. That's the church I'm talking about. I'm moving from there, a church that people are committed. You don't need to come, people are start working like what we did here now. No. Before service takes off by 7 a.m. in the morning, first service, everywhere everything is already set in place. You don't need to come and ask, this one's done, this one's not done. No. You just step into the vestry, dress up, and service on. People know what to do. They're empowered already. They know what to do. Then to this village church. And for the first time in my life, I've never preached in Igbo language. All churches have been personal English church, university church. All these churches have been elite church. And then look at me going to typical village. Where is that village? Typical one. When we got there, I saw the church signboard was hidden. I never knew. We drove past the church.
Wow.
Now go to almost the end of the village again. Why we're not heading to another community? I said, stop this. Now we're past Umokane. We started asking questions. When I saw people say, where is Anglican Church? They said, no Anglican Church here. I said, here. So the first person said, there's no Anglican Church here. Second person said, there's no Anglican Church here. Third person said, we have Roman Catholic Church. We have CMS. I said, CMS. That's how I got to know. Then I brought me, I have to come back. And I saw the church and saw a small, old, worn-out signboard.
Wow.
That even if I'm not an Anglican, that's always enough to stop me from coming to the church. Because if I look at the signboard I've just saw the church like that. So I won't come.
Is this a church?
Is this a church? If I'm not an Anglican, by honestly, and I'm not a pastor,
Yeah.
I can't enter the church because the signboard is enough to push you away from the church. Today, these people are not serious. When I saw the signboard, I couldn't drive inside the compound. I told the driver, please go. The church was uncompleted. Had no door, had no window. The cathedral church.
Wow.
Yeah. So we drove up. Bush covered the church. So we drove back to Port Harcourt.
It was a new diocese.
The cathedral now?
Yes. I mean, Ohaji Egbema as at that time was a new diocese.
That's the new diocese. I'm the pioneer bishop.
Wow.
I was a missionary diocese created 2008. You know. When we were on our way going, my wife looked at my face. I'm sure she imagined what was going on in my mind. She just rubbed my back and said, my husband, this is how you start. Don't worry, this is how you conquer, this is how you start. And that was enough strength for me, enough strength. I looked at her and said, thank you. And that was it. Came out to Port Harcourt, you know, start planning our way, start praying, asking for direction. Thank God for St. Andrew. Thank God for that church. That church supported us. That church gave me 1 million immediately to go and buy whatever I need. The diocese was coming to ask me for money to cook rice for the inauguration. You're laughing. The uniform they made was on credit. I paid for the uniform when I became a bishop. Wow. The program for inauguration was seized by the printer because they couldn't pay. Baba Kiola did the inauguration with the sample program they brought for correction. That was the only one program, that program for Baba Kiola.
Hi.
Yes. That place had no HD kingly on creation. Thank God I'm supposed to say it today. No HD kingly. It was only 4 dying parishes. Dying. That were not live in them. Well, of course, Cathedral was one of them. And when Akiola came, Baba Kiola came, I can quote him. He told the Archbishop, he deceived me. He didn't tell me it's like this. Because he came, those who came, Israel preached. Most Reverend Israel preached.
Okay.
Inauguration, yeah, preached inauguration. Their cassock, flood reached their knees. They had their cassock. It was quite frustrating, but when God called you, go. Now, why I love that diocese, why my parents go for that, Daddy will create on my birthday day.
Wow.
Was created on 27th of March, 2008, and that's my birthday. So that's why it's my birthday gift from God. So I don't joke with that diocese. It's my gift. It's my birthday gift. Yeah. So, but those ones are stories now. We're going very far. We're going very far now by God's grace.
We are coming there to visit you. Now, there was a story I heard about you, and we want to actually confirm that. There was a time you were arrested for speaking in tongues and praying. Is that true?
Our church, yes, now. Our church. Our church, you know, some of us, God helped us not to run away. We are only forced out. It's in church, you know, as a young man who came from the university, you know, year one, whatever, came from university, and then you have received this exposure of laying hands and speaking in tongues, and we are praying in a service where I didn't know when I started busting in tongues, all of a sudden, the three wardens lifted me. Not even through the window. That's spoiling their church. I wouldn't want to call the account that was that church there.
Wow.
But that was the beginning of the revival. When I discovered that the church needed a revival, so I started what to call Young Brethren Fellowship.
Okay, in the
church. In the church, Young Brethren. That's the young boys and young girls. We brought into it. You know, I started that ministry, Young Brethren Fellowship. And 1997, God said, no, it's 7. God started helping us. Those people, those children. Today, we have the likes of Rebel John Adubasim from there, the likes of all the canons. We have over 35 ministers from that body now. 35 ministers, both those abroad and those within, from that young brethren. So we started it. We are fasting for 10 days every month. This market ministry is so people every 12 noon people go and we started it. What we do that period is 87, 87, 87, 86, 87, 87, 88. 89. What we do that period, every 12 midday, we'll go to the market, we'll share ourselves to market. My 3 market, my 1 market, township market, home mass market, we'll share ourselves. We'll enter bus, we'll preach in the bus, we'll go to those markets. 12 midday, we'll take us to stand as our platform, stand and start preaching in the market. After preaching, make altar call. So we did that for many years. Then people start buying instruments. That's why when you go to every market in Igbo land now, you will see midday that they are praying. That's how it started. And God helped us.
So, how did you feel being arrested for for such thing?
No, that's when I was moved away from the church. I wasn't arrested. But the one arrested was in IVG.
Okay.
The vicar locked the church. I said, okay, open door for us. I want to do an IVG. Young people, he refused. So I broke the key of the...
So not the church where you were ordained anyway?
No.
Not the church you were posted to?
No.
Okay.
No. This I'm saying, this happened in the church I was posted to. This happened years behind.
Okay, before you were
87,
ordained.
if I even finished, I got ordained.
Okay.
I broke the key. The man said the police arrested me. But if you know my St. Andrew's Church, by the sheriff with police station, they came and arrested me. But people were having their vigil. So eventually, when they were praying in the church there, as we were praying in the church, the prayer became so high. I started blowing tongues in the police where I was sitting. They said, "Go." They drove me away. I came back to the church. I will continue.
Wow. Well.
The experience. I said, the same church that didn't want me to, to exercise spiritual giftings. That same church that I was almost forced out. That same church today, by God's special grace, made me a bishop. So wow. you can see that God is not Bomboy.
Wow.
God is not Tata.
Wow.
God is doing a lot of things. That same church.
Wow.
But we thank God for everything.
Now, in our last episode, too, the Bishop Theologian shared something similar like this about how the church has treated people in the past. Will you say that some of these things are what has affected the Anglican Communion?
Exactly. Listen, I'm saying, when you say affected, it almost will destroy that church. Check who is who in Nigeria as a minister left Anglican Church. So that's why I call their names. From who and who. Who and who you know. We are driven out of Anglican Church. Omo was the chorister in St. Michael Saba. Yeah. Are you aware?
Yeah. It's settled.
When he started manifesting the giftings of God upon him, they drove him away. Say, so this is not Anglican. Adeboye, sorry, forgive me, Baba Adeboye.
Yeah.
A lady is Anglican for 15 years. Is it Okonkwo? Name who are the ministers you talk about that make an impact in this nation were former Anglicans. Who were driven away by men whose hearts are callous, men whose hearts are dark, by occultic men. Because in those days, occultic men take the seat of leadership in our church and determine what happens. So people were driven away from our church, and people ran away. Who ran away? But we couldn't go too far. What we'll do, when we come to service in the morning by 7 o'clock, the first service, once it's done by 9, we'll go to any Pentecostal program. Me, I was going to 4 churches in one Sunday to go and hear the word of God. After Anglican Church by 7 a.m., by 9, I'll take off again to the Deeper Life. I'll go to Deeper Life, yes. Deeper Life for 7 years. I went Deeper for 7 years. Wow. We'll start the Deeper Life as a home fellowship, Bible study. From there, we got a land that where they call where we started our where they have Deeper Life High School there now in River State. We started there as a central place of worship. Then from there, before we now started having branches. So what happened? So from the moment I go to Church Prevention to go and worship too, to hear the word of God. My interest to hear the word. Then by 2 a.m., 2 p.m., I go to Scripture Union. That was my Sunday for you.
So, but I think things have changed.
Definitely things have changed. And this change started with Elewon, late Bishop Elewon. Because Elewon was doing, Elewon was not following this protocol we follow now. Once Elewon sees you're a graduate and you are born again, because the wife was born again, the wife is born again. Once they discover you're a Christian and you're a graduate and you have a calling, they bring you in, give you to go for training, ordain you. They don't subject you to a church teacher for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Once they, like my own case, as soon as they heard I'm a Christian, I've headed NIFEST as president, I've been NIFEST secretary, I've been JCCF prayer coordinator, I've been NCCF prayer coordinator, NCCF. He heard all of these things. He said, go to school. I went to school. So you open that. Tejefo was ordained, Orama was ordained, those brethren start coming in. Before you know, it starts spreading. That will happen. This thing you have to, is what today people pay for it. People were slapped. Some people were poured water. In short, someone like Ezeofor was never allowed to wed in the church. He was in the classroom. Wow. The present Archbishop of the Nigeria was never allowed to do Thanksgiving in his home church because he was born again. He had to do Thanksgiving in the classroom. If from Mikako Amici, or the present Archbishop of Amici, that's his now, was not allowed to wed in his church or do Thanksgiving after his ordination. In his home church, in his own, that's because he's spreading church. They are destroying the church. But today, the same people are bishops heading the church. So you can imagine the God foolishness. It's one man's
foolishness.
Yes, God's wisdom.
Thank you, sir. Now, let's find out, being a bishop now, there are many posts or positions that the Church of Nigeria has put you into. Can we get the breakdown of, we know you are a board member of ACNN.
I'm a board member of ACNN by God's special grace.
Yeah.
And Church of Nigeria business manager. And recently I'm also appointed the chairman, Church of Nigeria financial economic think tank. I am also the supranation investment chairman of Joint Council East of the Niger. That sees over the pensioners and pensions scheme for church workers. I am adjunct lecturer to seminary schools. I have an NGO.
Okay.
Andrew Foundation Incorporated.
Okay.
I'm also CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Chain Narrative Nigeria Limited. Chain Narrative Consult Nigeria Limited. Okay. I have a lot of people I consult for. I consult for over 20 journals, magazines and something. I have companies I consult for. I have businesses also I consult for. I have investment team I do for many people. I have I'm involved in about four investment teams for people. I'm many more. Many more. So
let me find out, how do you now take all these responsibilities and your ministerial assignments as a bishop?
One is we're given 24 hours in a day. And you know, I write too.
Okay.
So,
Yes,
so
yes.
that's my primary focus. I write. We have 24 hours in a day. And that 24 hours in a day, we are meant to sleep for maximum of 7 hours. Maybe 2 hours in the afternoon, 5 hours in the night. Or 6 hours in the night, 1 hour in the afternoon. Whichever way it goes. I must put 7 hours each day. And the rest is for work. That's one. Number two, meetings are not meant for businesses. For instance, let's take ACNN as a case study. ACNN is supposed to be a board thing, not a meeting thing. Supposed to be once a year you meet as a board. Take decision in that board, then allow the staff to execute the whatever. So if I'm concerned, having meeting once or twice or 3 times or 4 times in a year is unnecessary. And I won't get myself involved in that because I don't have such time. When board meets, board takes decisions annually. And then those decisions are implemented by your office. So, number two, the business department of Church of Nigeria, I don't resident here. I have meeting once a year. And that once a year meeting, I do all my meeting. I do everything. Give out for implementation. The next are phone calls. That one is done. Like we have had one January this year. I'm not having another one. But the business is on. Annual is on. I don't need to interfere in it because the system runs. When a structure is set, you don't need to get involved in meetings again. The structure will run the system. But when you say my running meeting, it's a problem because you don't have a structure yet. When you saw a structure in place, honestly, you don't need meetings. What you need is implementation. So that was it. Then superannuation, you're talking about superannuation east of the Niger. That was we meet twice a year, normal meetings. Then we can have emergency meetings for other things. The structure is set in place. I'm not the there's a fund administrator. Okay. It's supposed to run the daily affairs, not my business. We have an investment what we call Goshen Retreat Center. We have 150 rooms. It gets place internationally standard. I don't need to go there to run the place. There are people who run the place. If you don't run the place, I sack you. I don't receive salary. I don't receive allowance from you. So you that receive salary allowance, it's your business to do that. So people should be taught to do their work. Once structure is set in place, people do their work. I'm here now. I can be here for 1 year, 2 years. The diocese will run because without me, the diocese will run. I don't need to be there to run the diocese. No. So it doesn't say you have structure in the diocese. Whether I'm there or not, it's running. With me or without me. So the days are gone when people say, I'm not there, that's why something spoiled. If any man that say I'm not there, that's why something spoiled, that man is a failure. Forgive me. Yeah. If I'm not there, something will spoil. Yeah. It's a failure. Yeah. That's the language of failures. That's the language of those who don't have confidence in other people. Who are you to say if you're not there, something will spoil? Who are you? Are you God? Say the structure. Once structure is set in place, matters are over. You run on its own. I write. I'm here now. I have 12 hours in the night from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. So what I do is to read, sleep, rest, write, watch war films to distract my brain. If brain is full, I distract the brain. So how it is. So I won't come to be sleeping throughout because if I sleep throughout, I'll develop sickness. That was it. Yeah, that was it.
All right, sir. So we have enjoyed these backgrounds that you've given to us. And viewers, this is where we will end this episode of this edition of the exclusive interview with the Right Reverend Chidi Oparaojiaku, the Bishop of Ohaji Egbema Diocese in Church of Nigeria. And we shall continue the next episode of this edition, same time next week. Please stay tuned to your TV screen for the continuation of this interesting edition. Until then, we come your way. Please stay safe, obey the government guidelines in fighting this great pandemic. I am Korede Akitunde. Bye, and God bless.
Prophecies come, may not be directly with the names coming, but the spirit behind the prophecies are there. No one should intimidate you, should not allow anybody. Respect people. Whatever you've not committed your passion to will not work.